I'm a player with these kid creative player beats.
What's up, my officer? It's your boy, Alpha. I'm looking cute, looking clean, looking six. Hope y'all like the new intro. I am, of course, joined with the one, the only, Monterey. How you doing, Monterey?
What is good is the profit, not the profit, of course. And I have been roused from my slumber to be summoned to another fresh perspective.
Yeah. Hope y'all like the intro, by the way. I spent a long time. Well, I didn't spend I spent
I'm with it.
about 40 minutes. Shout out to the dope intro. But today, as y'all seen the title, we're going to do something a little short. Like I said, this is the pilot episodes. We got 3 pilot episodes before we go fully into the Overall 99 Anime channel, which will be pre-recorded, but this will be on the Overall 99 Media channel live, and it's also on the Facebook channel live. We'll always be on the Facebook channel live. If y'all want the show live, just let us know. We'll put it on the Anime channel live in 3 weeks, but that's up to you, the people who watch us and the people we appreciate. But, Monray, what is the purpose of all these live action? Because Netflix and Amazon and everybody and their mama decided we're going to take something popular and we're just going to make it live action.
I mean, for the purposes of Netflix and these companies is to make money. Let's just keep it real. It's to make money, to get you to subscribe to their streaming channels to be able to watch it, especially Netflix. Netflix has been on this run ever since. Ooh, what was the first one that really made any kind of notoriety? It wasn't Death Note. Oh, God, that abomination. But they've been on this run for a number of years now at this point. And it's really just to make money. Now, the purpose of live action in and of itself, I originally thought that it was to make a live action version of a show, for the fans to be able to enjoy all over again, almost like you're watching it for the first time. But, from especially after the most recent live action adaptation that made waves, with the Avatar, it seems that people just have conflicting ideals surrounding, like, what they think the live action is for, what they really want to see it for. Everybody, whether it be the complaints about like the changes, the complaints of characters, direction, and things of that nature. So, what do you really watch the live action for? So it's a lot. I'll go into what I think you to watch it for, what I expect from it. But as far as the purpose go, if your company is to make money, outside of that, oh boy.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sitting there trying to figure out like what's like why do we do this? Like why do we want to keep making these? Why do we make these? Especially if you don't do a good job. Even though lately, hey, listen, I said the live action Avatar was okay. I had a few problems with it. Like I said, episode 7 specifically kind of was way weaker than it should be because of the changes you made. But listen, if y'all start doing them right, Mario was done right to a lot of people. Video games been done a lot better than anime so far. Sonic and from Sonic with Jim Carrey, which I didn't know how that was gonna work, but it worked out very well. To Mario with Chris Pratt, I didn't know how that was gonna work. That worked out very well too. Also, that's all. Listen, if it work, it work. But some of them you shouldn't touch. Like it's some stuff it gotta remain anime because it has to. Please don't try to make Solo Leveling anime. I mean, anime live adaptation. You can do an anime, but please don't try to do that because you have to find the literally the most charismatic man. The same thing with JJK. You literally have to find like the most charismatic person you can find to literally go in and be Gojo. Like if you don't fit, people are going to be upset regardless. Like you setting yourself up for failure unless you put it on a certain level. And then not only that, doing domain expansion. Just imagine them trying to do domain expansion or make shadows.
I mean, look.
Try to make shadows in a live action is going to be crazy.
Do I think that there are live actions that you should make? Of course I do, because I think there are some, especially in the world of anime, because we have the Avatar in the world. We're seeing that they're going for live actions of things that are not just Japanese animated cartoons or anything of that nature. They're going for different mediums of fictional content. If you count Disney with their live action run they've done with these live action movies, We've seen The Little Mermaid recently, The Lion King. So it's not just that they're making live actions just willy nilly. They're doing it off of the most popular franchises, the most popular you know content that we've seen in recent memory. Now, as far as what I think you would go for, I figure that you would go for making your live action. It may have differences of the original adaptation that it's based off of, but you would keep generally you would keep the spirit of what made the anime popular in the adaptation, whether that be specific story points, specific character models, specific quirks about the specific anime that would make it what it is. And the most successful adaptations, well, it's not many of them, but I use the One Piece one for example because I think personally it's probably the most uh, accurate or most acceptable live action adaptation of an anime. And the reason why it's genuinely enjoyed is because it, for the most part, keeps in the anime what made One Piece popular. Whether it be the quirkiness of some of the characters, the story points, at least the important ones,
The creator was very involved in it too, so that
and
also.
of course, the author himself made sure that he was a part of it. So like everything about the anime, how it looks, he tried to keep that spirit into the show. Unfortunately, a lot of these other adaptations just don't do that, and they make questionable decisions and choices where it makes you wonder, like, this isn't what I loved about the anime, so why would I appreciate it in a live action, for example? Like, the problem with maybe the Yu Yu Hakusho one, for example, is it's not necessarily that you made changes, and I really don't believe most anime fans would care if you made changes. Is if the changes you make sense and they don't take away from what you enjoy about the anime originally. Like taking the Yu Yu Hakusho, like I was saying, Yu Yu Hakusho, you would look at that and be like, okay, we have Yu Yu Hakusho, the story of Yusuke and everything of the nature. But when you go to the live action adaptation, they've removed a lot of the spirit of what made the characters themselves. Kuwabara isn't Kuwabara. Yusuke, you don't really get a lot of personality or identification with Yusuke as a person, or even his backstory or anything of the nature. So that's why some of the
He
scenes that
ain't a
were,
model that's like brooding all the
yeah, like and we knew
He
Yusuke
wasn't a brooding
was
man.
a bit of a
Ricky Starks, you know what I'm saying? The Ricky Starks, but he ain't.
he was a bit of a mean person, yeah, of course, but it was mostly because he was misunderstood and of course his home life and stuff. But they don't really go into detail of that at all. One of the
But they
most
skipped his story, so you don't care.
I mean, yeah, like one of the most important scenes that I had an issue with that this sort of botched was the funeral. And it wasn't because they changed the funeral. It was because that funeral showed, the care and concern of the people around Yusuke and it gave them character development, it gave them understanding, and it gave understanding for Yusuke as a person. In Kuwabara, you didn't have that. And so, and then going forward from that point, you didn't get much from Kuwabara anyway. And, you didn't get much, expression from the characters. You don't really get a lot of it. And so, for some reason, it seems like these adaptations, where they're going wrong, is they're taking away the spirit of what makes the anime itself popular. So, you're going to lose the popularity of the adaptation. So, that's just my
Yeah. Avatar did really good in terms of like quality of like CGI and using abilities. Even though, like I said, they're probably simpler because you're using elements that you can just like use real pictures of element. Like it's not like trying to use a Kamehameha wave and trying to make it look good. You're using or domain expansions or bleach powers or something like. Just imagine trying to make a million roses for Byakuya when he does his move. Like if you can make that look cool, all power to you. But I think your budget got to be a lot, and I don't know if y'all really gonna put that much budget into it. But like using elements, I think could work. So those fighting scenes can look amazing because you can, like I said, you just put water in, make it a ball, and then just like take a picture of it and then make it right and then shoot it out. You can do cool things with it, right? But it's much harder in a higher budget to do like high end things. That's why I don't know how this Naruto is gonna work. And it only can go to so far, but before it start getting like, okay, you can't really do things. You can't really like touch it. You know what I mean? Like Naruto, I don't know how this is gonna work unless they just go to like the Hidden Rain Village. That's the far they
opinion.
can go before it get a little crazy.
I mean, it's only a movie. It's not, as far as I understand, the Naruto one is
Um,
only a movie. It's not a full series show of adaptation. It's a movie.
to me,
So
the movies have a harder time than the shows have.
not necessarily. Like, just take it like with 2 hours. Let's take 2 hours. In 2 hours, you could get to the Land of Waves arc. Not completing it, no, but you could get to Zabuza's first fight with Kakashi and be done. You could get to that and be done. You could do a satisfactory job with that. You can show that fight fine. Kakashi finishes it off. You have a moment with Naruto and Sasuke with the Demon Wind Shuriken. You got action. And I think you finish it with that. I think you stop there because before that you can have and because this is saying they fill out 2 hours. I don't think they'll fill out 2 hours. They might stop at an hour and 20 minutes or something. So in that, all you really need to do introduce Naruto, get the scene where you basically do the first episode how the first episode was. Being shot the first episode, you could skip the test, with the little written exam. You could skip that. It don't matter. You could do like you skip that. You just say, okay, Naruto passed. He does a clone jutsu. Go right through that. Do the bell test. In its entirety. Show Sasuke going out, show them more to give food, that kind of stuff, and it just go straight to the land of waves art. Like they could do that. Skip some stuff that you don't really need to see again, and be fine. They could do that and be fine. Do I think they're gonna do that? No, because for some reason, a lot of these adaptations just want to make changes. But it seems like I don't know the reason because I'm not in Hollywood. But it seems like they just want to make changes for the sake of making changes. Like the things that you could and should change wouldn't really be a problem. But like instead, you change things that change the foundation of who the characters are or what the show has been known for as a whole, and it's just wild. And so with the Naruto one, yeah, people gonna be worried about Naruto. People worry about Naruto, they worry about the One Piece one. Like, it's just like these are super popular things. So why change what makes them great? It baffles me. It's like if I want to make money, we are in the society nowadays, whether U.S. or whatever case, we're in a society where companies have no problem selling you what they know you will buy, even if it's selling you the same thing over and over again. Madden has done it for 20 years. NBA 2K, video games are known for doing this. They've done it for decades of selling you the same thing over and over again with a different skin on it, and you will buy it. That's a perfect example. Anime
Call of
also
Duty.
this. They just know different stories, but the authors will tell you themselves. A lot of times, the stories they create have influence or inspiration from other stories. And so it's not like they don't take inspiration from it. So a lot of things that are popular because people like them. So in my mind, if I'm making a live action adaptation of something, why would I change what makes it great? I don't really get that. Like, heaven forbid, they make a Demon Slayer live action adaptation. I don't want them to change anything. You don't have to change nothing about that story. Is the story simple? Yep. Is it straight to the point? Yep. You ain't got to change nothing. It's not a thing. But lo and behold, we expect them to go in there and Tanjiro got a mother and a father and only two sisters, and only one of them's off. And then Nezuko, she's gonna be taller than he is. They're not gonna have the box. They're just gonna be walking together all the time. And she's gonna be talking where she didn't talk. It's gonna be stuff that don't even need to be changed. Because that's what we come to expect from live action adaptations. It's not that we expect them to keep what's there. We expect them to screw it up. So when one is actually decent or good, we're surprised.
Yeah, I think what we give Avatar, we gave it a 7. Most of us gave it a 7. I think me, you, and Tori gave it a 7. Joe gave it a 9. But
Teach their own.
but I think the reason it's a 7, even though we thought the story overall was good, was because even the problem Joe had with it was like, why he cried all the time? I'm like, that's the problem we have, my boy. They should change to change your boy's story from him being a sexist. You had to make him a crybaby so we can get episode 7 off because they wouldn't have no reason for episode 7 and all those people. Oh, you're a woman and all these, and you got to overcome and responsibility. Instead of him being playful, he got to be sad because he got to be more serious, right? And those little changes turned the show that could have been a 9 or 10 to me, Monte, and Tori into a 7. Even though you still did a good job. I still think you did a good job, especially compared to most. Because you didn't just overarching change everything. You just changed a little personality tweak, and then you tried to make it work, and it kind of did until you hit certain points. To me, like I said, the only episode I had complaints about was episode 7. But those type of things and episode 7 is probably one of my favorite points in Avatar. So also the fact that you heard it probably knocked 2 points off automatically. And then the Lover's Cavern. Instead, now we don't like.
Yeah,
Now in the future, it don't hit it hard in the future because how you gonna build that relationship now unless you try to like makeshift it? Because some of the stuff happening in the future Avatar, you don't have no foundation unless you do it for the brothers and sister. But yeah, even though I still say you did a good job, it's still some things you do. It's the reason you have something great turn into something good, and you did good. And hey, that's a step in the right direction. I'm always willing to give a step in the. Monte, no, I do get mad at little things changing, but if you do a step in the right direction overall, I'm always okay with it because my expectation go low, and then you slightly raise it, and then I'm a little bit happy. Unlike Madam Web, which absolutely had no direction.
No, I ain't gonna
Yo,
go
them
there.
people been attacking. Hey, them people been attacking Unico. All I think they still might be attacking about his Madam Web date.
I mean,
And he's
well,
that why he's still like you anime, you comic book fan. Like yo, they ain't no comic book for. They don't have source material. They just making this shit up on the fly. You can't make up because there is no source material. So I don't know who you mad at about why it's not a like that cartoon. I mean the comic book. There is no comic book on it really.
I
She
mean,
mostly just show up randomly for Peter Parker to like give him. He's like, leave me alone, woman.
well, I mean,
And then
some
what he
of
do?
it.
He just yell at her after a while. She come messy. He's like, get out of my life, bitch. And that's what he do to her after the end.
Well, I
He
mean,
be mean to Madam Web.
some of it is just the companies having properties and they just have to do something with the property. I don't blame Sony for making something with Madam Web because they're like, okay, we have the Spider-Man brand and we split the main Spider-Man, but we have all these other characters, so you might as well do something with it. That's why they have all these solo movies. You know, you're gonna have Craven that's gonna come out this year. You know, they just popped out Madam Web. They have 3 Venom movies. Like they have characters, so like, we might as well do something with them to try to make money from it. I understand it. I have a problem with it. It's just, some of them look like they're doomed to fail from the beginning. Like with Madam Web, really a movie that needs to be made now. Like it's just, they didn't need to because Madam Web's hard enough to try to pull out anything in the comic book
I think
company.
you could have used the 3 Spider Women and then had them like from different universes and then try to connect it to the MCU and hint at a way. Not you can't really touch the MCU, but hint. And
The only way,
then
I,
and then
I,
like she used like when I saw her use her power that one time at the end, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool if you actually just did it like that through multiple universes and helped them out. And then they actually be Spider Women, but because all 3 of those women are actual characters in the comic book.
the only thing I don't think I think would have made Madam Web make sense is to use the character as originally intended. Like Madam Web is not a solo character with her own storyline or anything. She's basically like a guidepost to move things along for Peter himself. So the only way Madam Web would have worked would have used her in some kind of vein with that. Now, what I figured they would have been a better idea, which is my opinion. If you couldn't use her for the original Peter Parker Spider-Man, because of course he's split in the MCU with Tom Holland and everything, use her with another Spider-Man. Like a Spider-Man 2099 movie with Madam Web helping move that along would be fine in my opinion. Because that's something that's not even popular, not popular, but not used a lot anyway, is using Miguel O'Hara's storyline, which I think that's the name right. Using
Or
Miguel
you could
O'Hara.
use the one she originally in with old boy
I
with the
just used
with the little blue jean jacket.
I mean, it could like this Spider-Man 2099 would have been a movie, or making a Miles Morales movie and just having it as a separate continuity, saying it's not connected or anything. Either one of them would have been fine. And just using Web in that. But like I said, I get it. Sony, they got property that like we might well use something. Just I don't think that was a wonderful idea, but to each their own, it's fine. But the only thing I think with this live action everything is just if you change a character or you change the storyline from what made that character or storyline great, you're almost setting yourself up for failure. So that's why I think, and we believe we have plenty more live actions on the horizon. Netflix has announced like a ton of these things. You got one for My Hero Academia coming. You got one for One Punch Man coming. You got one for Pokemon coming. You have one for Mobile Suit Gundam coming. And believe I'm not lying about these. These are confirmed to be in development on planning stages or on their way out. Like we have a Naruto movie that was announced. Like there's so many of these, and just some of them look like they're just almost destined to fail because some of them you really don't need a live action for because some of them have fantasy elements that are so wild that it's like, how are you gonna really try to translate this to live action? I mean, heaven forbid, they even trying to do another live action Death Note. And it's just like we've already seen it go bad once, but now they're trying to do another one. I think somebody who's involved in Stranger Things creation is trying to do a Death Note, another live action one. Because originally it was going to be a sequel to the one we came out with. That one was horrible. So now they're going to do another Death Note live action reboot, which Death Note seems like the perfect one to do live action for.
He says I mean these ones are regular humans and like fake just CGI just
You
two
would think,
ghosts.
but next thing you know, we had a live action Death Note with Misa basically running the show, which is just horrible on paper. So it's like if you're not showing out light to be, the brilliant, evil, quote unquote strategist that he was in the show, it's like there's no purpose in it. So just, we'll see how it goes. Just,
I do want to. Live action can be done well, and one of the first people to continuously do it well would be like the Dark Knight trilogy, continuously.
mm.
And then you got the MCU. But the thing about the MCU is they were MCU even still is really great at picking their actors and actresses. Even though people have argued with the Fantastic Four.
And I don't know how they do that. Marvel, Disney, I say Disney and Marvel because they're both in one
Yeah.
company. I give them nothing but props for this. I don't know how they've been able to find, you know, needle in a haystack actors out of nowhere, and they are just wonderful at their parts. I don't know what their, creation, development team, or the people that go out and scout and do these interviews and do these setups and these tests to find these actors. I don't know how they find them, but it works because there's not really a bad actor in most of the bunch. And we're talking almost 20 years of movies in the MCU at this point. And they have just not really had what I would consider a bad
Miss
actor.
Marvel is like the perfect actress.
Right?
I
And
like
Miss
she
Marvel
is
is just the most recent example. I love the actress that plays Miss Marvel. My shout out to you. Whoever plays Kamala Khan, she does wonderful. She is carrying this generation of the MCU in my opinion. Because she
her
works
and Tom Holland to me. Tom Holland and her is
like just Aaron from Tom Holland, like all of their actors seem to fit their parts fine, fit them wonderfully. And I don't know how they find it, but they do. It works. But yeah, like to your original point, yeah, they do live action fine because what they want to do, and the thing about the MCU does is the Batman Arkham trilogy does, they keep the characters and the storylines for the most part what they're supposed to be. Like in Marvel case, yeah, they had to change stuff because they were missing characters, but the spirit of what made those storylines what they were, they kept. Even though Civil War was different because it didn't involve every single person that was in Civil War, the idea of Cap and you know Iron Man coming to differences over what the idea of heroism and being a part of the government and everything was, that still was there. They didn't change that. Like yeah, sure, we've had a bunch of Batman versus Joker movies and Batman and Bane was different and everything, but it didn't take away from the fact that the Dark Knight is who he is. The Dark Knight, the one that does all the crazy things, the brilliant detective, the one with the money, Bruce Wayne, the billionaire playboy. They don't change who these characters are and what they do. Even though the Batman movies have all been under different directors, different directions, even the most recent, the Batman that we saw, is just another iteration of the Batman that we know. It did not change that. And so that's the thing about it, like, these live action adaptations is killing me. Was like, why do you change what you know works? Like I've seen people are making complaints. Oh, well, if you didn't want them to change X, Y, Z on the live action adaptation, then you shouldn't watch it. Go watch the old thing. My answer to that is like, yeah, why would I want them? Like one, I didn't ask them to make this. Nobody asked them to make this. They chose to make it. But who you think they made it for? They didn't make this for new people. They made live action adaptations for people who are fans of the genre itself. So if you are making something for people that you know are a fan of something specific, why would I change the thing that you are a fan of for craps and giggles? Why would I do that? Like, why would I
I,
make a Spider-Man movie and Spider-Man isn't cracking jokes about the people that he's going against? That's not Spider-Man, so that doesn't make
yeah.
sense.
The latest Spider-Man haven't done it, but we already fell in love with the first from Captain America: Civil War when he was actually cracking jokes. But we already fell in love with him, so he didn't have to do it no more. Another change might be slightly would be Iron Man. He's not as much of a playboy, but again, you found an actor that was so embodiment of Iron Man that he could just cut that little part of his personality out, and plus it wouldn't probably be appeasing at that time.
I mean, Iron Man being, the playboy, it wasn't really as important as just, Tony had issues. That
Yeah,
was my thing. Like, Tony was he was a douche. I say douche, not actually a douche, but like another word I can't say on this love the YouTube. But he was and a bit of an a-hole, all that kind of stuff. That was Tony. And Robert Downey Jr. played that to a T. We didn't need to know that, he had women going in and out of his, apartments and houses. We didn't care about that part. It was just we knew Tony was Tony. And he was Tony. Like, it is what it is. And so that's the thing about it, like just I'm going to complain when you try to feed me a product that I didn't want. And then, I'm not. Why would I not complain about it? Like, why would I not complain when we look at Avatar: The Last Airbender? that Netflix just put out, and Katara isn't like Katara for the most part. Like she's bland. Like Sokka's bland. Aang's super serious, but Aang is a 12, 13-year-old child. He's supposed to be relatively and pure-hearted and fun, but he's bland. So I'm not supposed to complain about that when you're giving me a product based on something that I already love that I didn't ask for. What sense does that make? I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna, as a fan, you don't have to sit there and take anything that somebody gives you about your favorite character. Like, you don't have to accept everything.
Yeah, I don't even think about like, for instance, I even tell people all the time it's not about being comic book accurate because She-Hulk was absolutely probably the most comic book accurate you could get, and people hated that shit because it was too comic book accurate.
Who?
She-Hulk. That was literally she just slept with everybody, then it was just loose as hell, and I'm like, yeah, you probably could have just tried to switch your character a little bit up. There's a reason her character ain't one of the more popular characters, just in general. I'm just being honest. And then not just because she's a woman, it's because her character is slutty.
I mean, it's not that. The She-Hulk whole show, the problem that it has is that She-Hulk in the movies doesn't necessarily have the best storylines in and of itself anyway. Really doesn't. So the fact that they don't have necessarily the best storyline in and of itself, and you add that to, okay, we're gonna make a storyline for her, and it's still not good. Okay, let's depend on the character carrying it through. Like, how about the character itself? Do the character no, we don't like the character either. Okay, so she's not the most popular character. Her original storyline in the comic books is like, man, okay, let's make
The last episode is literally an episode from the comic because they wrote her so poorly that they apologized through the last chapter of that comic book run, and they did the same thing in the movie. I'm like, yo, in the show, and I'm like, listen, it didn't work in the comic book, which was way more popular than the character She-Hulk in now. It's not gonna work on TV. I don't know why y'all thought, this show is ass. Let me rip up the whole show, and it didn't happen. I'm like, that didn't work in the comic.
I mean, I don't like pegging on the MCU because that's their worst show. To be fair,
That is by far their worst show.
I don't like pegging on them.
People hate Moon Knight. I thought Moon Knight was good. It just could have been a lot better. I feel like that's the problem.
It was solid for what it was. But like
It could have been so much better.
Like
they had moments in the show that I thought was great.
I don't like pegging them for their worst show because just majority of the shows are good to solid. With a couple of shows that are just exemplary, like WandaVision and Loki. You have a lot of other shows that are mostly in the middle, and then you have She-Hulk over here, like the black sheep of the family. But I mean, they tried. It is what it is. Nothing wrong. It is what it is. We just take that and keep going. Like I said, live action is, to me, you keep what makes the show good in the show. And if you want, and this thing that I say when it comes to companies like Netflix, whoever else makes live action, if you want to make your own original story, say that. But none of them ever do. Every time you have a live action adaptation of something, they always, okay, yes, this is based off of XYZ show. But they never say this is an original story completely separate from canon or main thing that you know of. This is our own original take. Nothing in this canon. It's just our reimagining of the show. Nobody ever says that. They don't ever say anything. Why don't they say that? Because we want everybody that love the show to come here hoping and wishing that you see your favorite scenes and favorite ideas, because that's going to make you come watch our show, and that's going to make you do subscriptions. Right? And Zell, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong. If we've seen, this is our own original idea of this show, completely separate from. They don't say that. Which is why all the trailers and everything always show characters exactly how they look.
Blue Beetle suffered from that. When they realized that none of these shows was going to be part of the new DCU, nobody cared no more.
They don't do that. Like, I promise you, when they come out with this My Hero Academia one, you think they are going to be like, okay, this is a completely original storyline. So All Might won't have the injury in the beginning. He's going to be a scrappy old man that's bitter and everything towards Deku, and Deku's gonna hate him, and Deku's gonna end up stealing his powers from him. They're not gonna say that. Or is it gonna be like, okay, this Deku and you have All Might in here, and you'll have to come watch and see what the show looks like? Like, come on now, bro. Like, ain't nobody stupid. You know, they do that for reasons because they want you to come watch it. Like, heaven knows, if Death Note when it came out on Netflix, if they had said, "Hey, we're just gonna let y'all know, Light is gonna be like a relatively lame college student, and we're gonna have Lisa Misa telling him what to do for the majority of the show, and it's gonna be completely reversed, and she gonna be running him, and he gonna end up pushing her off the top of Ferris wheel when they go out on a date." Had they said that, they'd have been ran through and talked about negatively before the show ever came out. But of course, they weren't gonna say that because they want people to come watch. So because they want to leave details out because you want to watch, I am going to rip on those details when I see them and they're not good. Now, if the change is good, fine. But most of the time, they're not good. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think, like I said, if you do live action, that's all. Listen, if you do live action, just keep it to the story. Usually, it usually works. If you're gonna change it, you better make sure it's a good one. You better make sure it's a good change that fit. You better make you.
Perfect example. Like when Civil War, when MCU did Civil War, were they missing the majority of the X-Men and everything? Yes, they were. They knew they were. But the changes they put in there, we loved it. Like the running scene between Winter Soldier, Captain America, and Black Panther when they running down the street for about 10, 15 minutes. Nobody complains. Nobody complains because it seems wonderful. That's one of the best parts of the movie. And nobody complaining about that change because it worked. But it's just the majority of these changes we see in some of these other ones are horrible. Like we see Cowboy Bebop and the fact that Ed wasn't even present until the dang near post-credit scene at the end of episode 10. What? It don't even make sense. Or we seeing Faye ain't Faye. Like she acts completely different than the idea of the character that we know for. She's not even, a bad female walking through like she owned the place. That wasn't even a fake. That wasn't close to what we saw. Like what? Like or when we see Julia, sitting here like taking out Vicious and she running the corporation into what? Like that stuff that you change that don't even make sense or they just ain't good. Like why would I take? That's like me taking. It's like me looking up at the My Hero Academia, for example. It's like me looking at My Hero Academia and saying, "Oh, Striker, the lizard guy. If I got his name wrong, I apologize. Striker, lizard dude. He assassinates Shigaraki in episode 5, and he's running the League of Assassins now. Who does this? Who does this? Like, anybody making stuff like that? That's why we critique live action the way that we do. If it's not good, it's not good.
What I'm saying? Listen, and I know I've been hearing this thing that's going on lately that the MCU going broke because this stupid website just randomly just made this random report. Shut commentreports.com. MCU is Marvel is broke. Marvel is not broke. Martin, if you read the actual article, because I do want to go over this before we get off, because this actually pissed me off this week. The actual article said, Mark Ruffalo said they don't want to spend this. They don't have the money to spend on a Hulk movie because it'd be too expensive. And they're like, "Oh, that means Marvel broke." I'm like, "No, that means Marvel is not putting in projects that they don't think will make money no more." Which is, by the way, they said on their quarterly call at the end of the year Q4, they're like, "Yo, we are stopping shows that we don't feel like will make us money." And I'm like, that makes sense.
Yes,
and if they believe the Hulk will cost them way too much money.
I mean, they're like, we're not going to make a movie that they don't really have a purpose in making. Like, why? Like, we get you. Y'all want to do World War Hulk and that kind of stuff. We understand it. But making another solo Hulk movie when the first one didn't come out good, She-Hulk didn't come out good. Why would we go another third Hulk route when it's not really needed? Makes sense to me. Why give you just random product that we don't really have a lot of faith in that the fans also aren't clamoring for? So I mean, like, that's cool. It's wonderful. Ain't no problem. They already tilted back on like putting out multiple shows and movies in the same time. I ain't mad at you. That's business. That's business. If something don't seem successful, I'm not gonna put it out because I'm not gonna invest money in it. That's business. But all of a sudden they broke.
Yes,
Broke.
they are. One company I know in this country is not broke. Is
y'all
Disney.
realize You know,
I'm sorry.
look at the last 5 movies. You know, we say broke. How they broke? They last 5 movies. You know, you have the Marvels, which you know we'll just say that underperformed. Prior to that, they had Guardians of the Galaxy 3, probably one of the best movies of the entire year, and one of the best movies in MCU. Period. And you had what Ant-Man, Quantumania. Yeah, middle of the road. I don't know if it tanked or not, but it made Jonathan Majors, a popular name, being Kang the Conqueror. So I mean, I had had 3 there, and then what we had prior to that. It was a little 2 movies before that. Gotta remember everything after post phase 4. But I'm just like, broke. And this is the same company. Matter of fact, screw all that. We ain't gotta say broke. They owned by Disney. How they broke? Y'all forget who Disney is? Disney's own thing to everything at this point. How they broke? Oh my gosh. When the day I say Disney is broke, they oh boy, okay.
Disney
They'll
might be
buy
the
me.
fourth richest company in this country.
They'll buy me. They'll invest in first perspective.
Who
Next thing
richer
you
than
know,
Apple,
you'll be in a
Microsoft?
mansion somewhere.
What's the other one? It's one more company ahead of them.
What,
Who is it?
Microsoft?
Microsoft, Apple, and who else ahead of Disney in terms of money?
Microsoft, Amazon. It's like one more. Let's see. Is it Amazon?
I don't know if Amazon up there. Amazon
I know
should be.
Microsoft, Apple.
I know Microsoft, Apple, because Apple about number one. Hold on, let me look at the top. But all you need to know is Disney in your top 7 at least.
Let's see. In the U.S., you say?
I'm trying, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, trust me, the one thing Marvel is not is broke.
Oh, well, hold on. Let me see.
Somebody just passed Apple, I believe.
Let's see. Who's the top?
Somebody just passed Apple. I can't remember who it is.
Well, done it. Show me the order. You would go in reverse order. Hold up.
But
All right. Let's see.
yeah,
Hey,
it's
Apple is for
Apple 4.
Berkshire.
Who?
No, Amazon is ahead of Apple. Amazon is 2.
Oh, so okay.
I know I wasn't crazy about that. Amazon is 2. And Walmart. Stuff.
Okay, so yeah, let's see. I don't care about the richest people. It's what is it? I know the video up there too. Let's see where is this is an older report, but Apple, Microsoft is Saudi Arabia, Alphabet, which is Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, Berkshire, Tesla,
Mhm.
Eli, which is a healthcare company, which is we ain't gonna talk about them too much because we might get canceled. But so if I be that new, I'm willing to get more canceled on because me and Ruby already attacking P Diddy and Jay Z, so we gonna be missing soon. If my car blow up,
Don't
my
do it.
car.
I've done
My
nothing but
car blow up and did it. It did it. Tell me, Monte. I want everybody to understand. Did it. Monte, I want you to scream the did it if my car blow up.
We're gonna hope for layoff over there. Otherwise, I think I'm about done. I'm raged on live action, and we'll shame and sadden on live action until the next one comes out.
Yeah.
Whatever
Next
that
week,
is.
again, the last pilot episode will be next week. So I'm excited about that. So then we'll be on the official list in which me and Monte will actually put more effort into these instead of just trying it out and showing y'all new things. Literally, this whole thing right now, the pilot episodes is just us talking, getting used to it, getting the screen up, which I like. And today we're putting the intro because I'm like, yo, Monte, we didn't do it this week. I want to show off my intro.
A mess.
Monte, where can they find you?
It's your boy Monray Hudson. Everywhere it says Monray Hudson, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, as it still exists. Look for Monray Hudson. Otherwise, I am, of course, on Make It Make Sense, the podcast every Saturday evening, featuring Layout for Zelda and, of course, a couple of other colorful, wonderful people talking about whatever, including whatever we're going to talk about tomorrow. It's going to be fun. I know that. Every Saturday, Make It Make Sense podcast, of course, on YouTube and on Twitch. Come hear what we got to say. Otherwise, Monray Hudson will be fine.
And it's your boy Laugh. Man, I'll be that news over on that, media over on that, anime over on that, over on that, over on that. Looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy.
Blah.
And of course, we out. Enjoy the intro on the way out.
player with E King, create play beat.